Your doctor told you your blood work was normal, and your hair is still falling out. Both of those things can be true at the same time, and the reason is a single test that is not included in a standard blood panel unless somebody specifically asks for it. Here is the situation almost nobody explains. Your body keeps two separate pools of iron. There is the iron circulating in your blood right now, doing the work, and there is the iron held in storage as your reserve. A standard blood count measures the first one, and your body will protect that first number at almost any cost by quietly draining the second one to keep it topped up. Appointment with a perfectly normal result, while your reserves have been sitting at empty for years, and your follicles have been living on nothing that entire time. Stay with me to the end, because number one is the reason some people are told their level is fine, and it still is not. And it is the detail that almost nobody, including a good many doctors, thinks to check. Your doctor is not hiding this from you. Appointments are simply too short, and nobody orders a test they were not asked for. I'm Dr. Alan Brooks. I have spent 35 years as a board-certified dermatologist focused on hair and scalp, and more than 10,000 patients have sat across my desk. And if I had to name the single most common correctable cause of hair loss I have found across all those consultations, it would be this one, and it would not be close. Not because it is exotic, but because it is invisible unless you go looking, and almost nobody goes looking. Patients arrive having spent a fortune on serums and supplements, having been told repeatedly that their bloods are normal, and the answer is sitting one unordered test away. This channel is where I say what I never have time to say in a 15-minute visit. Maybe this is exactly your experience. You went to your doctor. You mentioned your hair, perhaps a little apologetically because it felt like a small thing to bring up. They ran blood tests. Everything came back within range, and the conversation ended there, with the implication, spoken or not, that this must just be age, or stress, or nothing. And you left feeling slightly foolish for asking. I want to say this clearly. You were not wrong to ask, and the normal result did not mean what you were told it meant. So let me explain the two pools properly, because once you see it, everything else follows. Think of your iron the way you would think of your money. You have a current account, which is what you use day to day, and you have a savings account, which is your reserve. Hemoglobin, the thing measured on a standard blood count, is your current account. Ferritin is your savings. Now your body treats that current account as untouchable, because hemoglobin carries oxygen to your brain, and your heart, and your organs, and running short there is genuinely dangerous. So when iron gets tight, your body does exactly what you would do. It moves money out of savings to keep the current account looking healthy. And it will keep doing that, month after month, year after year, until the savings account is completely empty. Only after that does the current account finally start to dip, and only then does a standard blood count show anything wrong. Which means, and this is the whole point, there is a long window, often years long, where your reserves are gone. Your current account looks fine, and every routine test you have says normal. Now, why does your hair care about the savings account? Because your hair follicles are among the fastest dividing, most metabolically demanding cells in your entire body. Faster than almost anything outside your bone marrow. Building hair requires constant cell division, and iron is required for that process. And your body has a strict order of priorities when resources are short. Heart, brain, and vital organs get paid first. Hair is classified, biologically speaking, as a luxury. It is the first expense cut. So your follicles are not merely affected by low reserves. They are the first tissue to feel it, long before you feel tired, long before you look pale, and long before any standard test flags a problem. Your hair is the canary in the coal mine, and this test is how you check the canary. So let us go through the 5 things you need, counting down. Number 5 is what this test is actually called, and how to ask for it, because this alone is the whole video for some of you. The test is called ferritin. That is the word. It measures the protein that stores iron in your body, and it is the closest practical measure we have of your reserves. It is a routine, inexpensive test run by every laboratory, and there is nothing exotic about requesting it. The problem is purely that it is not automatically included in a standard blood panel, and doctors order the panels that fit the question they think they are answering. If you say, "I am tired," they may run a blood count. If you say, "I am losing my hair and I would like my ferritin checked," they will usually order it without hesitation. The mistake is asking for a blood test, generally, and assuming the right one will be in there. Ask for it by name. 9 times out of 10, that single word is the difference. Number 4 is who is actually at risk, and it is broader than people expect. But before the list, let me give you something to check against yourself, because low reserves rarely announce themselves as one clear symptom, and most people have quietly absorbed several of them into normal life. Think honestly about whether any of these apply. A tiredness that sleep does not seem to fix. Feeling cold when other people are comfortable, particularly your hands and feet. Breathlessness on mild exertion, like stairs you used to manage without noticing. Restless legs at night, which is a genuinely well-recognized association and one almost nobody connects to iron. Brittle nails, or nails that have developed ridges, or a spoon-like dip. Unusual cravings to chew ice, which sounds odd and is a real and specific sign. Headaches, or a general dulling of concentration. Now, every one of those has other explanations, and several of them are simply life after 60. But if you recognize 3 or 4 alongside your hair thinning, move this appointment up your list, because that combination is worth a single blood test to rule in or out. Now, the groups most at risk, women who still menstruate or who had heavy periods for years, are the obvious one. And many arrive at menopause with reserves that were depleted decades earlier and never rebuilt. But there are several groups that never think of themselves as at risk. Anyone over 60, because stomach acid production declines with age and you absorb considerably less iron from the same food. Anyone eating little or no red meat, whether by choice or simply because appetite and cooking habits changed. Regular blood donors, which is a genuinely common and completely overlooked cause. Anyone taking regular anti-inflammatory painkillers or acid-reducing medication, both of which affect iron in different ways. And anyone who has had bariatric surgery or has a digestive condition affecting absorption. The mistake is assuming that because you eat reasonably well, you must be fine. Absorption is at least as important as intake, and absorption is exactly what declines with age. Now, before the top 3, let me mention something practical that I will come back to properly, because this whole video ends in one appointment, and there is a free page designed to make that appointment produce something. Number 3 is the range problem. And I want to handle this honestly because there is genuine disagreement among clinicians, and you deserve to hear that, rather than a confident oversimplification. Laboratory reference ranges for ferritin are wide, and the bottom end of normal in many laboratories sits at a level that is adequate to prevent anemia, but that a good number of dermatologists consider insufficient for optimal hair growth. So it is entirely possible to be told your ferritin is normal while sitting near the floor of that range. Now, let me be straight with you. The evidence linking ferritin specifically to hair loss is real, but it is not unanimous, and studies have come to different conclusions, partly because ferritin behaves in complicated ways that we will get to in a moment. Some clinicians treat aggressively at levels others consider fine. I am not going to pretend that debate is settled, because it is not. What I will tell you is the practical consequence, and it is simple. Do not accept the word normal. Ask for the actual number, and ask where it sits within the range your laboratory uses. If you are at the very bottom of that range and losing hair diffusely, that is a legitimate conversation to have rather than a closed case, and a reasonable doctor will engage with it. The mistake is treating a reference range as a verdict, rather than as what it is, which is a statistical description of a population. Before I give you the top 2, do something for me. Type in the comments whether anyone has ever checked your ferritin. Yes, no, or you have no idea. Which I suspect will be the most common answer, and is itself the answer. And if you know your number, put that too, because seeing a range of real numbers from real people is far more instructive than any explanation I can give. Number 2 is what to do if it comes back low, and specifically what not to do, because this is where people cause themselves genuine harm. Do not buy an iron supplement and start taking it. I want to be very clear about why. Because this is not caution for its own sake. Iron is stored rather than excreted, which means excess accumulates in your organs over time and causes real damage. And there is an inherited condition called hemochromatosis, in which people absorb far more iron than they should without knowing it. Taking iron blindly in that situation is actively dangerous. On top of that, if you supplement before testing, you make your own result uninterpretable, and nobody can tell what was actually happening. And there is one more reason that matters for this audience specifically. Iron tablets are one of the leading causes of serious poisoning in young children. So if there are grandchildren in your house, they belong somewhere locked and out of reach, rather than in a kitchen drawer. So the sequence is always the same. Test first. Then if it is low, your doctor decides the dose and the form, and importantly, investigates why it is low. Because an unexplained low ferritin in an adult sometimes needs looking into on its own account. If you are prescribed iron, 2 things dramatically improve how much you absorb. Take it with a source of vitamin C, and keep it well away from tea, coffee, calcium, and dairy, which all interfere significantly. And ask your doctor about dosing frequency, because there is reasonable evidence that taking it every other day can actually absorb better than taking it daily, which surprises people. And now, before number 1, let me give you the practical thing I mentioned. There is a free page called the Blood Worksheet, 10 pages, put together by the written companion guide to this channel. It lists the tests to ask for, written exactly as a laboratory orders them, with a line explaining why each one is on the list. It explains why the list deliberately stops where it does, rather than turning a 10-minute appointment into a negotiation over a dozen tests, which is the fastest way to lose a doctor's engagement. It gives you the sentence to say out loud, so nobody has to improvise while the clock is running, and it carries the warning signs page in full at the front, because that page should never sit behind a payment. It costs nothing, and there is nothing to buy. If you are going to have this conversation anyway, walk in with the paper in your hand. You will find it linked in the description below. And now number 1, the reason some people are told their ferritin is fine when it genuinely is not. Here is the trap, and it is the detail that even careful people miss. Ferritin does 2 jobs. It stores iron, which is what we have been discussing, but it is also what is called an acute phase reactant, which means it rises in response to inflammation anywhere in your body. Infection, injury, chronic inflammatory conditions, obesity, liver problems, even a recent illness will push your ferritin up, independently of how much iron you actually have. Now think about what that means. If you have any ongoing inflammation, your ferritin can be pushed into the normal range while your true iron stores are empty underneath. The number looks reassuring and the reserves are gone. And this is not a rare edge case, because low-grade inflammation is extremely common in exactly this age group. So how do you resolve it? You ask for one more test alongside it, and the usual companion is a marker of inflammation such as CRP, or a measure called transferrin saturation, which looks at iron from a different angle and is not inflated the same way. If your ferritin is normal but your CRP is raised, that combination tells your doctor to look harder rather than to close the file. Let me tell you about Margaret, 63, a patient of mine, who had been told twice that her iron was fine, and who had spent 2 years assuming her thinning was simply age. Her ferritin was indeed within range, at the lower end, but she also had a long-standing inflammatory condition, and when her doctor looked at both numbers together, the picture changed completely. Her stores were not fine at all. They had been masked. She had been given accurate information that meant the opposite of what everyone had concluded from it. The mistake is treating one number in isolation, when this particular number cannot be read on its own. So here is exactly what to do. And it is one appointment. Ask for 4 things by name: your ferritin, a full blood count, a marker of inflammation such as CRP, and explain that you understand ferritin can be raised by inflammation, which will immediately tell your doctor you know what you are asking, and your thyroid function, because thyroid problems cause exactly the same diffuse shedding, and it makes no sense to chase one while the other sits unchecked. Say clearly that you are experiencing hair loss so they understand the reason. Then ask for the actual numbers rather than the word normal, and write them down, because you will want to compare them in 6 months. 2 practical notes. First, do not start any iron before that appointment, for every reason I gave you. Second, if your level is low and it is corrected, be patient in the right way, because your hair lags behind your blood work. Your reserves can be rebuilt months before your hair reflects it, and that gap is not failure. It is the hair cycle catching up. One thing, doctor to viewer. Everything here is about knowing which question to ask, not about diagnosing yourself. An unexplained low ferritin in an adult is sometimes a signal of something that needs investigating on its own, quite apart from your hair, which is another reason this belongs with your doctor rather than with a supplement bottle. Never take iron without testing. And if your hair is falling out suddenly, in distinct patches, or alongside other symptoms, see a doctor promptly, because that deserves attention regardless of your iron. I am a doctor, but I am not your doctor. Now, one last honest word, because the lesson here is bigger than one blood test. Normal is not the same as optimal, and tested is not the same as looked for. Modern medicine is very good at answering the question it was asked, and the question your doctor was asked was, probably, are you anemic? Which is a different question from, are your reserves adequate for the tissue that feels shortages first? Nobody did anything wrong in that room. The question simply never got asked, and the only person in the entire system holding your whole picture is you. So the useful skill here is not worry. It is knowing one word and being willing to say it out loud, even when it feels like a small thing to take up an appointment with. It is not a small thing. Expect any shedding to settle within a couple of months of correcting a genuine deficiency, and expect visible density somewhere between month 6 and month 12. So make that appointment. Ask for ferritin by name. Take the sheet with you, and come back and tell me in the comments what your number turned out to be, and whether anyone had ever checked it before. Type your age too. I read every single one. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.